Hello, I'm Ann Millian of Sugar Creek Gardens, and tonight we're going to talk about roses. After the winter of 2014, I wondered how much dieback I was going to have in my roses and how many were going to survive. Well, I'm going to give you a quick tour tonight of the roses that not only survived but are just doing stupendously. Or as we say at Sugar Creek, they're fabulous. This is the Elle rose, E-L-L-E, I think that's French for female. I stopped counting when I got to about 40 buds on this thing. Now it's kind of near the end of its first flush of bloom, but this bush has never produced this many roses before. The Elle rose. Now this is my absolute favorite rose. It's called Heaven on Earth. The flowers are kind of like a David Austin rose, or maybe even like peonies. They're just multi-petaled. The rose bush goes crazy. I usually have to prune it back twice a year. It's absolutely a spectacular rose, and it seems like people don't even know about it. Heaven on Earth, my favorite. This is a Floribunda called Honey Perfume. Obviously, it's a fragrant rose. I don't know if it's ever put off this many blooms before. The first flush of bloom is generally the best in the rose season. Honey Perfume. For obvious reasons, this is called Ketchup and Mustard because red petals on the top side, yellow on the back. Beautiful. I've had it one year. Ketchup and Mustard. This is the Peace Rose. It's a hybrid tea, one big flower on the top of a stem. It was one of my dad's favorite. I had to have it in my garden. A couple of different colors there, the Peace Rose. And now here's my most fragrant rose, Double Delight. And I have to say it's on its last leg of its first flush of bloom for the year. But the flowers are enormous this year. They've never been this big. It starts out with the rose and the cream color. So beautiful when it starts. And I think any beautiful rose garden and anybody that wants fragrance should have a Double Delight in their rose garden. And for obvious reasons, this is called Perfect Moment. It looks like it's on fire, all those different colors. It hasn't been a huge rose bush, but the colors are so spectacular. I have to have one of those in my garden. Perfect Moment. And here's the rose that has no name. I bought it thinking that it was an Iceberg Rose. Well, it obviously is not a white iceberg. Came out of a box. Of all my roses, this one just has so many flowers on it, more than most. And it produces and performs so well. I have no idea what it is, but it's always a beautiful rose. There's not a whole lot of roses that are green, but this is St. Patrick, and that's why it's named for the saint of Ireland. It's never been a real big rose bush, but how many roses have such a unique color? It generally dies back to the ground, so it doesn't even seem to have a chance to get to be gigantic, but such a unique color and such a beautiful rose. St. Patrick. Last but not least, I want to talk about a low maintenance rose. The only one in my garden is the Peach Drift Rose. I have them in pots. I will not have to spray these. They just perform like crazy. They just bloom their little heads off the whole entire season. It's the smallest of what has come out of the roses from the knockout people. There's knockouts, carpets, and then there's the little drift roses. They perform like crazy. You throw some fertilizer at them, no spraying, low maintenance, Peach Drift.